David Gahan, the electrifying frontman of Depeche Mode, has a life story filled with both brilliance and turmoil. The brilliance part is evident in his killer music productions, and to understand where the turmoil comes from, you will have to wait a little, because in this video we will be discussing some shocking things Gahan has revealed to the public in some very interesting turn of events. From severe drug abuse to the diagnosis of life-threatening diseases, Dave has announced just about everything a fan would never want to hear from their favorite star. But before we get into this, let's go back a few years and visit his childhood. Dave was raised primarily by his mother Sylvia after his father abandoned the family. It's safe to say that he faced a rather turbulent childhood, as many kids with broken families do. As though the struggles he faced after his parents' separation was not troubling enough, Dave's world was once again shattered by the loss of his stepfather, a man who had lovingly adopted him and his sister, becoming the father figure they desperately needed. This heartbreaking loss left young Dave having to deal with a void that seemed impossible to fill. Adding to the turmoil, his biological father briefly reappeared in his life, but this reunion was short, and as he left, Dave once again had to face the harsh realities of his turbulent childhood. Being quite a rebellious young boy, Gahan often found himself in and out of juvenile court, committing offenses ranging from joyriding to theft. He has openly admitted to this in interviews, saying that he was pretty wild and loved the excitement of nicking a motor screeching off and being chased by the police. His troubles with the law almost landed him in a detention center, but that was until music entered his life and eventually became his salvation. In 1980, Gahan joined a band called Composition of Sound that was home to some wonderful performers, including Martin Gore, Andy Fletcher, and Vince Clarke. This band grew over time, and now the world knows it as Depeche Mode, a name Dave Gahan got from a fashion magazine. Depeche Mode became really famous and made music that lots of people liked. They made 15 albums and sold over 100 million records all over the world. Despite their success, Gahan's journey with Depeche Mode has not been without controversy. He was known for his powerful stage presence and deep singing voice, but he faced difficulties working with the band creatively. By 2003, his frustration with the band's lack of trying new things led him to ask for a bigger role in writing songs. This change meant that 3 of his songs appeared on the 2005 album Playing the Angel, including the Grammy-nominated Suffer Well. Gahan also did well as a solo artist, making albums like Paper Monsters and Hourglass. However, his life away from the spotlight was also troubled as he fought against addiction and personal struggles. Despite this, his strength and love for music kept him going. Much like his childhood, Dave's adulthood was not free from struggles either. Health concerns in particular disturbed his life significantly, but it was nothing too crazy until he revealed what all his fans and colleagues feared: a life-threatening cancer diagnosis, something that could crush down the spirit of just about anyone. Coming to the details of Gahan's frightening battle now, the ordeal began just before his concert in Athens, Greece. Feeling extremely unwell in the dressing room, Dave was promptly taken to the hospital, where a tumor in his bladder was discovered by doctors. He was quickly informed that an immediate surgery might be the only solution for him if he wants to get healthy again, since at the time of the diagnosis the tumor had not broken through the wall of his bladder. In an emotional interview, Dave once said, "At first the doctors it was just a stomach virus, but then he got some ultrasounds done, which shockingly revealed a tumor in his bladder." Being in denial, Dave tried to negotiate, saying he was on an 8-month tour and couldn't stop. But the oncologist got serious and explained the gravity of the situation, and this successfully convinced him. In no time, Dave had his surgery done and the tumor was removed. Even though he was eventually given the all-clear signal, he admitted that he really thought he was going to die. After Dave's surgery, he went through a tough time and had some really sad conversations with his wife Jennifer. At one point, Dave told Jennifer that he thought he'd be fine, but she told him that she wasn't okay. She didn't want him to talk, as if he was ready to give up, because she knew he was saying that if things didn't go well, he had lived a good life and their kids would be okay without him. Of course, such times are equally difficult for loved ones. Goodbyes, after all, are never easy to say. After recovery, Dave used to have regular cystoscopies where a camera was inserted into his urethra to ensure he stayed healthy, as you can imagine. He found the experience to be very uncomfortable, but eventually got used to it and considered it a blessing to just be alive, surrounded by family and friends. Talk about practicing gratitude. But even before his cancer diagnosis, Dave had been battling a lot of physical and mental health problems. In fact, his life was marked by addiction and serious health issues. As a recovering heroin addict, he faced numerous near-death experiences. His darkest days in Los Angeles earned him the nickname the Cat from local paramedics because he survived 4 brushes with death. In October 1993, during a performance in New Orleans, Gahan suffered a minor drug-induced heart attack, forcing the rest of Depeche Mode to improvise an encore without him. But that's not all. Gahan also attempted suicide once by cutting his wrists. He later explained it was a desperate cry for help and said that he had made sure that he was in a place where people around could find and save him. The pain and loneliness he felt during this time was overwhelming. Gahan has also revealed that he has overdosed on a speedball at the Sunset Marquis Hotel in Los Angeles. His heart stopped for 2 minutes until paramedics revived him. He described the experience as an out-of-body event he saw and felt complete darkness, the blackest space he had ever encountered. He remembered seeing himself on the floor surrounded by frantic activity. When he regained consciousness, a police officer was handcuffing him. Although the news of him having trouble regulating his drug abuse issues was not completely unexpected, many fans were still heartbroken, perhaps not ready to hear such things about their favorite star. Finally, a few months later, after facing drug charges, Gahan made a smart decision and checked himself into rehab with a strong determination to turn his life around and become a better version of himself. The emotional and physical toll of these events was immense, but it also marked the beginning of his journey toward recovery and healing. After his stressful battle with cancer and other health diseases, things may have gotten better for him in some ways, but then 2022 came about, and with itself brought a very sad time as Dave lost a special friend and valuable bandmate, Andy Fletcher. After the public announcements of Dave's struggles and hardship, fans were not ready for this news, but nothing could be done to reverse what had already happened. Sometime after his passing, Depeche Mode announced their first album, and according to Dave, he and Martin vowed to honor the memory of their co-founding member of the Enjoy the Silence group by completing the upcoming LP Memento Mori. The duo planned a tour of North America, hitting iconic venues like New York's Madison Square Garden, Chicago's United Center, Los Angeles' Kia Forum, and Toronto's Scotiabank Arena in March 2023. They were also set to play London's Twickenham Stadium on June 17th for the European leg of the tour. They began working on the project early in the pandemic with themes inspired by that challenging time. But after Fletch's passing, they decided to push forward, believing it's what he would have wanted. Dave shared that Fletch would have loved this album, which made it even more special to continue their journey. To express their gratitude to everyone mourning Andy's death, the two wrote that they wanted to take a moment and acknowledge the outpouring of love for Andy that they had seen from everyone over the last few weeks, and that it was incredible to see all of their photos, read their words, and just see how much Andy meant to everyone. Confirming his cause of death, the pair revealed that Fletch suffered an aortic dissection, a tear in the large blood vessel of the heart, and passed naturally and peacefully. Despite facing controversies and various challenges, David Gahan's legacy as the dynamic heart of Depeche Mode is quite impressive. What do you think about him, and were you aware that he faced so many hardships in his life? Make sure to let us know in the comments below.